On April 30th, the first trailer for the feature film Sonic the Hedgehog was released. The movie had been controversial with fans ever since the unveiling of the teaser poster, which showed how Sonic would look in the film. The design of the character unnerved many. Some hoped that seeing Sonic come to life in the trailers would help to alleviate their concerns. If the trailer's current like-to-dislike ratio on YouTube is any indication, it did not. But could these character designs, as well as the movie, be creative genius without audiences yet realizing it? Or is Sonic the Hedgehog a disaster waiting to happen? Of the two possible scenarios, information we have received suggests that the latter is the more likely outcome. In this video, we will provide the abbreviated cliffnotes version of who Sonic the Hedgehog is, the development of the film, and the rumors we are hearing that the production is a troubled one. Sonic the Hedgehog is a video game franchise produced by Sega centering on a series of traditionally 2D high-speed platform games. Sonic, the protagonist, is an anthropomorphic blue hedgehog who can run, spin, and dash at supersonic velocities. Typically, Sonic must thwart the villain Dr. Evo Eggman Robotnik's plans for world domination. He's often helped by his friends, such as Tails and Knuckles. The first Sonic game was released in 1991 for the Sega Mega Drive console, renamed the Sega Genesis in the United States for copyright reasons. An instant hit, Sonic would replace Alex Kidd as Sega's mascot and provide Nintendo's Super Mario with some actual competition. The decision to bundle the original Sonic the Hedgehog with the Genesis helped Sega encroach upon Nintendo's market share. Sonic 2, arguably the highlight of Sonic video games, made even some of the most hardcore Nintendo loyalists cave in and get themselves a Genesis. Since 1991, countless Sonic games and ports have been made for several consoles. However, many of them have suffered, straying too far from the concept of the original games. By all accounts, this appears to be the case with the upcoming movie as well. Development of the Sonic feature film began in 2013 when Sony was in talks with Sega. 1 year later, Sony formally acquired the movie rights. Based on leaked emails from the Sony hack, it would appear that at the time they were trying to replicate the success they had adapting Resident Evil. In addition to Sonic, Sony were also developing Console Wars, a feature film about the rivalry between Sega and Nintendo in the late 80s and early 90s. Additionally, Sony Animation were apparently in talks with Nintendo about acquiring the rights to an animated Super Mario feature film. None of these other projects happened. Sonic, however, stayed with the studio. Sonic gained traction in 2016 when Deadpool director Tim Miller and his production company Blur came on board to develop the movie for Sony. Shortly after, Miller dropped out of directing Deadpool 2, citing creative differences with actor Ryan Reynolds. Directing duties would be handled by Blur's Jeff Fowler, known for directing the 2004 short film Go for Broke. Though Sega had some stipulations, overall, Tim Miller's production company Blur had creative control over which direction to take the Sonic feature film. We will get back to Sega's feelings on the matter, but evidently, Sony weren't thrilled with the take that Blur came up with. In late 2017, Sony put the Sonic the Hedgehog movie into turnaround, meaning they would no longer be funding or making the movie, but they facilitated Blur taking what they had developed with them and set up the movie with another studio. That is, if they could find another studio that was willing to take it on. That studio came in the form of Paramount, who was at the time and remains to this day a bomb factory in dire need of hits. At the time, most of their recent big-budget productions that Paramount had greenlit had gone on to tank at the box office, which cut off sources of Chinese funding, sending them further into crippling debt. As such, Paramount needs to win back market and investor trust. To do that, they need movies that are filmed on time, on budget, without the need for extensive reshoots or other reconfigurations in post. Films that audiences are excited about, and which ultimately prove to be profitable at the box office. Sonic the Hedgehog is not off to a good start in any of these criteria. Midnight's Edge has learned information emanating from inside the film, which suggests that the production has been a troubled one. Please note that none of the information that has been disclosed to us can at this stage be independently verified. It should therefore be taken with a grain of salt and be treated as rumor. That disclaimer out of the way, what we have learned is that the problems facing Sonic began in earnest after the movie had finished shooting. The film's initial concept featured rings from the games as a storytelling device, enabling the transport of a young Sonic from his world to ours. where the story is set. Outside of Sonic, a few subtle visual references to level names and iconography, and the presence of Dr. Robotnik as the villain in the skinny, non-ginger form of actor Jim Carrey, there was reportedly nothing else from the games that made it into the movie. Hardly any tropes, no Tails, and no Knuckles. However, in their absence, there were owls, which acted as Sonic's caretakers when he was a child and were transported into our world. The film didn't have any behind-the-scenes issues to speak of while the movie was in pre-production and during filming. The problems only began when an early cut was screened for studio executives and a select test audience of their choosing. The response and feedback was reportedly negative enough that Paramount were spooked. This worried Paramount that they might have yet another bomb on their hands. The biggest issue was that the movie was too much of its own thing and barely like the games which it was supposed to be an adaptation of. Paramount subsequently mandated that this be addressed in post-production. Reshoots were thus required to bring in more iconography and tropes from the games after the fact. The brief scene towards the end of the trailer of Jim Carrey's Robotnik suddenly looking more like Eggman from the games is reportedly the result of one such reshoot. From what we have heard, Sega are not happy with the movie, especially not with the design of Sonic himself. Their single biggest issue is said to be his eyes, and how far removed they are from the original design of the Sega mascot. However, there is very little they can do about it, as they do not have creative control. Their options are restricted to providing notes and suggestions and hoping Paramount and Blur will take them into account. Alternatively, that they know something the rest of us don't. Could this be creative genius? Could the movie win audiences over upon release, or will this be yet another bomb in the making for Paramount? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you like this video, then please help share it and share your opinion in the comments. Midnight's Edge aims to give the most comprehensive analysis and commentary on genre culture and entertainment. If you would like to see more of our videos, then please subscribe, hit the bell icon, and remember to indicate that you would like to be notified when new videos are uploaded. If you really like what we do, then please support us on Patreon until a better alternative comes along, or send us a direct donation through PayPal. Also check out our sister channel Midnight's Edge After Dark for live shows and other rants. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and stay tuned for more here at Midnight's Edge.